This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball Excel Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the World Series game number 3. Dodgers got the split at home, salvaging game 2 with a nice performance by Bird Hooten. And we have number 3 starters today for the Dodgers. It'll be Rick Sutcliffe, 79. He was 17-10. I think he was the Rookie of the Year. 3.46 ERA in 242 innings. For the Angels, Paul Hartzell had a couple of good years in, I think, 77, 78. With the Twins and Angels, he was 6-10 with a 3.44 ERA in 157 innings. He is going to have to win today to continue to help keep the home field in California. Let's get started. Leading off, Davey Lopes, 3-6, eyes left. Kirk Gibson, 39, is a walk. Ace Steeler, they've been aggressive. Stealing of the +1 of Downing, will do it again. And he's safe on an 11. Steve Garvey, 36, single 1-8 chance, misses it. So with 2 outs, it's Reggie Smith. 4-11 off Hartzell is left X. This is Molinaro, a 3-16, and he makes the catch. And the Dodgers did not capitalize on the stolen base. We go to the bottom of the first. It's Carney Lansford. 110's a single. Lansford, you got -1 Sosha, and Lansford's just a B stealer, so he'll just stay put there and hope that Molinaro can hit one between first and second. Molinaro, 57, flies to center. Brian Downing, 45. Short X. Today we have Landistoi again, a 4E14 at shortstop, and that's going to be a base hit. Maybe that's a ball Bill Russell gets to. We don't know. Runners in the corners, Bobby Grich. 1-8! Bobby Grich right on cue. That is gone. One of his 30 bombs from 1979, 294, 30 homers, 59 walks, 30 doubles, 2E14 second baseman. It's got to be his best year. 3-run homer, and the Angels grab a 3-0 lead. That'll help a young pitcher like Hartzell out, we think. Don Baylor, 110's a single. Now he's an ace stealer, and they have a 3-0 lead, so they're going to be a little bit more aggressive and attempt to steal, and he's in there on a 9. John Harris, 67, is a walk. And it's Sutcliffe that's struggling. 2 on 1 out for Pocoroba. 39, another walk. And the bases are loaded for Disco Dan Ford. 3-6 is a K. And with 2 outs, here's Tim Johnson. Big moment for Tim. Bases loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. 67, he'll get the bases loaded walk of Sutcliffe, who always had control problems in his career. As he's walked 3 of the last 4 batters, the bases loaded walk, it's now 4-0. They bat around, and the dangerous 336 bat of Carney Lansford. Let's take a look at it before he swings, folks. Started with the Angels, was traded to Boston, and this is his 81 Boston card, hitting 336. Still in California for now, and you know what? Boston's going to have some young man named Wade Boggs playing third, so the Lansford's going to have to find a new home next year, because the Angels are going to bring in Doug DeCinces. So Lansford will be a prize free agent. Coming through big in a World Series will certainly bump up his resume. So with the bases loaded and 2 outs in a 4-0 game, here is the pitch to Carney Lansford. 1-6, Lansford delivers it. Triple, 1-2, single not dotted, and it is 5-0. And the Dodgers in trouble here in game 3. Runners in the corners for Molinaro, and he grounds the first. But the Angels, they get 6 runs in the first frame. Should be enough for Hartzell to get through at least 5, you would think. Dusty Baker, 1-8's a single. Ron Say, 58, center. Landistoi, 1-2, fouls to the catcher. And with 2 outs, Jim Norris, 4-10, center B. Top of 2, or bottom of 2, it's Brian Downing, 57, K. Bobby Grich, 38, he's on again. Double on a 4, base hit. 1 out single. Don Baylor, 46, is a walk. And we're getting close to breaking Sutcliffe early in this thing and wrecking the Dodger bullpen in the process. We got 2 on, 1 out. John Harris, 6-11 is another walk off the Sutcliffe card. They're loaded. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 8 hits and 4 walks, or 10 hits through 3. And I'll break the pitcher, call him broken. They need to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a couple more hits to do that. And the base is loaded and 1 out. They're going to play back for Pokeroba. 1-4, right B question mark. This is Gritch trying to run as a 13 runner, 14-15, off of the Jim Norris arm, which is +1, as Reggie Smith is actually the DH. So he's going to run off the arm, and he scores on a 7. And 7-zip. First and second, 2 outs now. Let's just go down forward. 2-7 is a single to left field. Baylor will certainly run from second. 17 runner with 2 outs makes it a 19. 1-18, and he will score on a 9. John Harris will hold at second with 2 outs now. Tim Johnson. 62 flies to right. The inning's over. What to do with Sutcliffe now after giving up 8 runs? I kind of think he needs to pitch the third and fourth inning. Might have to pitch the 4th inning broken just to help his bullpen out, and then we'll get him out of there. You only got an 8-man pitching staff, and you just have to grin and bear it, particularly in a game that looks like it's a loss anyway. So no reason to completely waste the Dodger pen. So we'll have him pitch the third. 3 runners in the third will call him broken. He'll be definitely broken in the 4th. Point of weakness is what I call it. Mike Scioscia. I sort of, play that rule as 10 hits in 3 innings, or 8 hits and 4 walks. And if it's a combination that's as worse than that, I'll just sort of make a gut call there. And I'm just deciding that's what the call is going to be. Mike Scioscia, 66, base hit. Davey Lopes, 58. And normally there aren't 8-man pitching staffs in baseball anyway, so there's a lot of rule changes that I go through. Kirk Gibson, 1-8, is a single to center. Scioscia goes to second with 1 out, and it's Garvey. 38. Garvey, though, a 6-4 free double play, and no, the Dodgers do not get back in this thing. All right, bottom of the third, it's already 8-zip. Lansford already his 3rd plate appearance. 48 is a single off Sutcliffe. I think, do we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 8. We got the 8 and 4, so he's broken right there. He's got the 8 hits and the 4 walks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So point of weakness is reached now. So any dot on the pitcher's card will also be a single two-base hit. A single ... Oh, what a mess. Bob Molinaro, 55, second C. Runner in scoring position for Downing. 35 is a walk. First and second for Gritch. 3-6 is a single to center field. Lansford, oh, you don't want to run out of this inning. May as well go station to station and just pile up the runs. Base is loaded, 1 out. Playing back for Baylor off the broken Sutcliffe. 1-8 is a 6-4-3 double play, though. Wow. And that gets Sutcliffe off the hook, luckily, and it stays 8-zip. Wow, the ground ball, a walk, and a single loads the bases, playing back with 1 out, and you get a ground ball short A. Big break for the Dodgers. Reggie Smith in the 4th. 110 right. Dusty Baker, 58 left. And Ron Say, 2-5, is a single. Landestoy, 2-5, rolls to second. All right, the final inning for Sutcliffe. John Harris, 310 right. Pokeroba, 58, pops to third. And Disco Dan Ford, 53, right X. Jim Norris, a 3E5. And that's going to be a double with 2 outs. Tim Johnson, 56, flies to right. So now he has to come out because we want to give the Angels some advantage for having to have your opponent use their bullpen. So he'll leave after those 4, which is generous. Bruno will come on in the 5th and 6th, probably pitch a couple innings, and then single innings for the remaining parts of the bullpen. That'll still keep their bullpen fresh. 8-0 game in the 5th. Probably the worst postseason game yet I've played. Jim Norris, 6-12, first. Scioscia, 2-6, lines out. And Davey Lopes, 2-9, a single. He won't steal, down 8. Kirk Gibson, single to center. Lopes won't go to third and get thrown out, down 8. Garvey, 2-11, pops to third. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, bottom of the fifth. Tom Bruno in there now. Bruno was a relief 4 starter 7 for the Cardinals in '78. He was 4-3 with a .98 ERA and 50 innings. Nice little player here. He's the Dodger long guy. He will also come into pitch when Umbarger makes his start in this series, if Umbarger does indeed get a start in the series. We don't know if that's even going to happen. So Carney Lansford for his 4th at-bat. He's got 3 singles. 67's a K. Molinaro, 37, flies to right. And Brian Downing, 6'10", third X. This is Ronce, 2-11 at third. Innings over. Paul Hartzell just mowing them down. Getting a little bit of a break in that the Dodgers are not being aggressive on the bases because of the deficit. Reggie Smith, 65, flies to left. Dusty Baker, 46, single 118. He gets it. Man on first for Say, 310, left. 2 outs, Landestroy, 58. Short X. This is Johnson, a 4-17 at short, but he makes the play. So there it is, Paul Hartzell. 6 shutout innings in the World Series. That seems like a recipe for success for the Angels. All right, Bobby Grich, he has had a day as well, 3 for 3 with a homer. 53, rolls to first. Don Baylor, 59, second X. And that is Lopes, a 3-15 at second base. That's going to be a single. John Harris, 38, is a single 1-8, and he gets an 8. Everything's going California's way. Pokarova, 412, flies to right, and with 2 outs, Dan Ford, 69, rolls to second base. The Angels are going to start bringing their defense in now, so nothing, they get no slip-ups. They'll take John Harris out at first, replace him with Ron Jackson. Sample will go into right field where Baylor was, and Fred Potek will play short. And an 8-0 game in the 7th inning. Hartzell's a starter 8. Well, he's going at least 8 innings unless something catastrophic happens in the 7th. Here we are with Jim Norris, 48, single 1-9, line out. Sosha, 56, double 1-3, base hit. Davey Lopes, 2-9, there's a base hit to right. They got 2 on. Kirk Gibson, 1-7 for Kirk Gibson. We saw his card in the first inning, I think. 1-7, double 1-4, base hit, ... and there goes your shutout. It's 8-1. He's a starter 8, so we'll give him a little bit of a leash here, and Garvey gets into a lot of double plays anyway. Here's the pitch to Steve Garvey. 1-6, however, let's take a look at the Garvey card of 79. Big year for him with 28 home runs and a .315 batting average in 79. And 1-6 is homer 1-10 double. That'll clean the bases up nicely, and we got a baseball game suddenly. A baseball game has broken out in the top of the 7th inning of Game 3 as the Dodgers pull within a grand slam. And as far as momentum and that sort of thing, I think we are going to pull Mr. Hartzell after 6 1/3. As you can't let this thing slip away here. They're going to go right to the back end with Ralston and Clear. They're not going to take any chances with their shaky setup guys. So Ralston, the lefty, will come on in the 7th. The base is now clear. Face Reggie Smith. Ralston, former Dodger, was 2-1 with a .295 ERA in 61 innings in 78. Nice pitcher. Here's the pitch to Reggie Smith. 2-9 for Reggie. Single 1-11, and he misses it on an 18. And why is that significant? Because 2-9 against a right-hander is an automatic single. So the pitching move paid dividends immediately there. With a line out to short, and with 2 outs, it's Dusty Baker, who's also worse against lefties. Let's see what happens. 5-12, bounces it to second, and that's Bobby Grich. 2-14, but Bobby makes an error. How about that? That's interesting. Now you got Ron Say up. Pitch to Ron Say. 4-11. Right X, but you got your new right fielder you just brought in, Bill Sample, a 3-0 right fielder. He's a 3, and he makes the grab. So they do get the 4. We got a ball game. It is 8-4. Stretch time in Anaheim, and we are enjoying the Fleetwood Mac Mystery to Me LP of 1973. Got Me Hypnotized, Bob Welch and Company, Emerald Eyes, Miles Away. Yeah, For Your Love cover. Great record by Bob Welch and Company. I think it's his last record he did with the band before starting his solo thing. All right, back to the bottom of the 7th. Bruno leaves after 2 innings as to not exhaust him for the remainder of the series. Terry Forster's going to come in, pitch the 7th, and we'll probably see Castillo in the 8th. Technically, you could actually use Umbarger in the 8th, as season schedules start for 3 or 4 days, and they probably do that if it's a laugher. So Patek will lead off as a defensive replacement, 69, Sky's the center. Carney Asada Lansford, 110 is the 4th hit of the game, base hit. Molinero's going to stick around because he's halfway decent defensively. 3rd B, fielder's choice. Going to try a steal up 4, and he's in there. So he's at second base after the fielder's choice, and you got Brian Downing. 46 off Forster is a base hit in the left field. Here comes Molinero. He wants to get it back to a 5-run lead. He's a 15 runner. 16-17, -1 for Baker makes it a 16, and he rolls a 16. That's the hustle of Bob Molinero. So he gets a fielder's choice, steals second. He's a 15 runner, trying to score from second on a single, makes it a 17. The -1 run makes it 16, and he slides across home plate with the 9th run. Some good base running by the Angels. Bobby Grich. 38, and Bobby Grich is having a day, folks. Base hit to right. 2 on, 2 outs for Baylor. 69, center. It is 9-4. And it'll be, batting for Landestoy will be Bill Russell. Trying to increase their chances of a comeback. 111, grounds to the pitcher. Batting for Jim Norris will be Willie Horton, here's a who. 610, 3rd X. 324 at 3rd. That's a ground out. And batting for Scioscia, the 3rd lefty, will be Alex Trevino. 2-6, shorts up. None of the pinch hitters worked out at all, and it's 9-4. Ralston will leave after an inning and 2/3. Forster leaves after 1 inning. We'll go Jim Umbarger here in the 8th to pitch an inning, just to keep Castillo and Hal fresh for the next game. Here's Jim Umbarger. Relief 3, starter 7. He is scheduled to pitch game 6 in 3 days, so he'll pitch an inning tune-up here. He's 5-8 with a 4.87 ERA with the Rangers in 98 innings in 1978. Jim Umbarger will face Ron Jackson. 1-7 is a triple. That's been the kind of year it's been for Umbarger. And now Bill Sample. 37, single 1-7. He missed it. That's good news. Dan Ford. 5-11, pitcher X is an E30. And that's an error. Oh my goodness. That'll score an unearned run. Runner at first, 1 out for Patek. 45, short X. This is Russell, a 3E33 at short. That is a 2-base error as he throws it in the dugout. What a disaster the Dodgers are putting on. They must have, I don't know. Can't blame the plane ride. They just drove across town. So 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. And we're back up top with Carney Lansford looking for hit number 5. 66, homer 1, fly ball. He almost gets it. Rolls the 2. We'll give him a sac fly on that. And a 2nd unearned run. And with 2 outs and a runner at 2nd, it is Bob Molinero. 5-11, pitcher X, again, E30 pitcher. Looking to make his 2nd error. That's just going to be a clean single dot. And that'll put runners on the corners with 2 outs for Brian Downing, who mercifully flies to left. 11-4 laugher. Ralston leaves. Dyer Miller will come on and finish this in the 9th. And the Angels are very cocky suddenly, about to go up 2-1. Davey Lopes, 52, flies to left. Kirk Gibson, 47, base hit. He'll run to 2nd. His run doesn't mean anything. Garvey, 47, is a single. Runners on the corners for Reggie Smith. 37's a walk, and Dyer Miller just blows up in the 9th, loading the bases with 1 out with a 7-run lead. Here's Dusty Baker. 112 is a 6-4-3 double play with the infield, playing back and the bases loaded, just what the Angels needed to finish the laugher. 11-4 victory. My goodness, folks. The Angels, after losing the League Championship Series a year ago to Baltimore, have come back with a vengeance in this this season. And the Dodgers are in a little bit of trouble here, losing Game 3 by a score of 11-4. And when we return, we will have Game 4 in California. Dodgers will need to win that to even the series. And on 3 days rest, we'll go back to our Game 1 pitchers, Don Sutton and Frank Tanana. We'll see you next time. All right, welcome back, baseball fans. The 1978-81 Fall League World Series Game 4 in Anaheim, California. It's been back and forth. Angels won on the road in Game 1. And then the Dodgers and Angels each won at home. And the Angels are trying to go up 3-1 at home. They're feeling pretty cocky about themselves. They had a nice postseason. Just to recap, they beat the Brewers in the wild card game. Then they beat Cleveland, who had a bye, 3 straight. Then they went against the defending world champion Orioles, beat them 4-2. And the Dodgers' path has not nearly been as difficult. They played the Cubs in the wild card game. They played Portland in a divisional round series. And in the league championship, they faced Atlanta. So they also came out of a weak National League West. They have not been tested. And it shows, folks. The Dodgers are getting everything they want out of these Angels. And it's a battle today, again, of Game 1 starters. Don Sutton, we read off the stats every time here. 13-5, 221 and 212 innings in 1980 versus Frank Tanana. Tanana bested Sutton in Game 1. He was 18-12, 365 ERA, 239 innings in 1978. Can Tanana beat Sutton twice in 4 days and have the Angels go up 3-1? Or do we get the perfect storm, which is each team winning home and away in the first 4 games? That's the perfect series. So let's see. Let's get started. Leading off for the Dodgers is Davey Lopes. 1-7 is a base hit. They got to be aggressive before they get behind on the bases, and this is where Lopes will attempt his 30th steal of the year, I believe, and he gets it. Leading all base stealers. And batting second is Reggie Smith. 58 off Tanana, flies to right. Steve Garvey, and you steal these bases so that Garvey doesn't into a double play. 1-7, Garvey delivers, double 1-6, base hit, RBI, Dodgers lead 1-7. Now you got Ron Say. 5-9 off Tanana, flies to center, and with 2 outs, it's Gibson. 34, flies to right. Dodgers get the lead in this one, 1-0. Leading off, it's Carney Lansford. 1-9, up base hit. He had 4 hits in Game 3. Bob Molinaro. 3-6, let's take a look at the Molinaro card. It's a homer chance, folks. Homer 1-2 double for a 291 hitter and 360 plate appearances. His best year for the White Sox in 1980. Good base stealer, good base runner. Homer 1-2, he'll take the double to center. Lansford he has the option to hold if he wants to. He'll hold up. He will not challenge the arm of Gibson. It's early. They want to go for a big inning. Second and third, nobody out, and the Dodgers will play it back anyway. So all Downing needs is a ground ball to get a tie game here, or a sac fly. The pitch to Brian Downing. 5-10, or a catcher's card. A catcher's card to Trevino. He's a 3E5 catcher. We should get a pass ball out of this. We get a ground ball C out of it, which works as well. So all the runners move up in that case. Now you got a runner at third with 1 out. That's an RBI for Downing. And it's Gritch, but they're going to bring the infield up because he's in a bunter. So interesting maneuver in the first already, strategically. Bobby Gritch, 4-4 off of Sutton. It is gone! The one problem, the kryptonite of Don Sutton. The long ball. Gets up a lot of homers. Doesn't give up a lot of hits or walks, though. 4-4 off his card, and it is 3-0, 3-1. And the Angels are right back at it. Gritch and Lansford tearing it up in this postseason, folks. Don Baylor. 1-5. Hello. Don Baylor. Let's look at his card again. 79 Baylor card. 296 with 36 bombs. These Angels are serious, folks. It is 4-0. And Don Sutton's worst start of the year was in Game 1 of the World Series, and he's following it up with his second worst start of the year today. My goodness. 4 runs and 5 batters for the Angels. It's not an elimination game, though, so. Anyway, fifth Pokerova. 68 pops the first. And Dan Ford, 312 is a walk. Ron Jackson, 611, Left X, Dusty Baker's a 2-3 in left field. Makes the catch. Last game, it got away early from Sutcliffe. 4 runs in the first, or 6 runs in the first and 2 in the second. And Sutton's already given up 4 in the first. He cannot afford another implosion, not to mention that Bruno pitched a couple innings, Forster pitched an inning, and Umbarger pitched an inning. So Sutton's got to hold this thing together off this explosive offense of the California Angels here. Top of the 2, Dusty Baker. 39 is a single. Bill Russell, 37 flies to center. Willie Horton, 38, is a single to left. Baker holds at second. One of the things this deficit does is keep the Dodgers from being aggressive on the bases. They're just going coast to coast down by the 3 runs. First and second for Alex Trevino. 38, and Trevino delivers a single to right field. Baylor has a +3 arm. Baker may have to run in this case. 12, 13, 14, 15, he has to run. So he is getting the green light on a 15, and he scores on a 6. And that is basically because Don Baylor has a +3 arm in right field. It's the first time it's really hurt the Angels in the whole postseason. And now they found the missing, that's what you got to do. Hit the balls into right field and take the extra bases. You got a green light. Horton, however, will hold at second on the throw because he's too slow. First and second with 1 out in a 4-2 game, and it's back to Davey Lopes up top. 38 is a 6-4-3 double play for Davey Lopes. Tough break there for the Dodgers. It's 4-2. Here's Tim Johnson, 6'11", left X. Baker 2-3 in left field, but a cheap single off Dusty Baker's glove in left. He's a good defensive player. Not there. Carney Lansford looking for a hit number 6 in the last 2 games. 55 is a K. Molinaro, 56, flies to right. With 2 outs, it's Brian Downing. 35 is a walk. 2 on, 2 outs for Mr. Bobby Red Hot Gritch. 56 is a K. Sutton battles back. We go to the 3rd, 4-2. Reggie Smith. 47 is a K. Steve Garvey, 66, short X. Johnson's a 40-17 at short, but he makes a nice play there. Got to take advantage of that defense when you can, when you're losing, but they didn't. Ron Say, 2-9, rolls a short. Bottom of the 3rd, it's Don Baylor, 38. Rounds a short. Okaroba, 55, short X. And Russell's a 3-33, makes the play. And with 2 outs, it's Dan Ford, 110 single. With 2 outs, Ron Jackson, 65, rolls the second. We go to the 4th, it's Kirk Gibson. 68 off Tanana is a base hit. Now, do you think of stealing down 2 runs off a +1 arm with Baker, Russell, and Horton up? I don't think so. I think we gotta let their guys hit here. He's gonna hopefully roll a plus is what they're going for. Dusty Baker, 64, pops to first. Maybe with 2 outs we'll try it. Get a guy in scoring position. Bill Russell, 5-12, pitcher B. So now you replace Gibson, an A, with a C stealing Russell. So now you're stuck at first. 2 outs. For Willie Horton, the tie run. 49. This is Homer 1-6 off Tanana's car to tie this thing. Does not get it. Gets the double, but you got the lightning quick Bill Russell. 17, 18, 19 against the -1 arm of Dan Ford makes it an 18 right here. And he rolls a 14. We got a 1-run game. Runner at second with 2 outs for Alex Trevino, who singled and knocked in a run in his first trip. 2-2 is hit by the pitch. So Tanana is blowing this thing. 4-1 lead. He's got first and second with 2 outs in the 4th, and the pitch to Davey Lopes. 37, Lopes flies to center field. So we got an interesting game. It's 4-3. Bottom of the 4th. Here's Tim Johnson. 3-6, single 1-6. He gets a base hit. Now you got Carney Lansford. 6-12, flies to shallow center field. With 2 outs, it's Molinaro. 33, pops to second. Well, Sutton has settled down He hasn't gone 3 up and 3 down yet, but he's not allowed to run the last 3 frames. We go to the 5th of a 4-3 game. Angels a run and a single batter ahead of the Dodgers thus far. Reggie Smith leads off in the 5th. 65 off Tanana, lines to short. Steve Garvey. 1-6 for Garvey. Homer, 1-13 double. Rolls the 13. And we got a tie game, folks. A tie game. 4-4. Ron Say. 1-7. Let's take a look at the Ron Say card. Tanana, you're going to give him a long leash, but at the same time, he's blowing it. Ron Say crushes lefties, and 1-7 out of the park. Solo homer. Dodgers have come back from a 4-1 deficit. Take a 5-4 lead in the top of the 5th. A lot of long balls today. Grich, Baylor, Garvey, Say. A lot of power on these teams. 5-4. With 1 out in the top of the 5th. Here's Kirk Gibson. 4-10 off Tanana. Here we go. Homer, 1-15 double, and it's gone. A home run on a homer 1-15 double. Now, what we could do in the court of public opinion is any pitchers giving up 3 home runs in a row should probably come out of the game. What do you do here? It's the World Series. You got Barr, Miller. You don't want to use Vralson. Clear's your closer. Baker's better against righties. He's not technically broken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 5 innings. It's not a good look, though, but it's still just a 2-run game. So I think we'll let Tanana go a little longer. Once we get to maybe 7th or 8th run, we'll hook him. But we'll make an exception here, as he's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think you need to break him in 5 innings. You need like 15 base runners, so he's a little better than that. Dusty Baker with 1 out. 3-6 grounds to short. And with 2 outs, it's Bill Russell. 2-5 is a single. And if we go back to the top, Lopes will not bat in this inning against Tanana. We'll make sure that doesn't happen. Here's Willie Horton. 1-7 is a strikeout. So the inning is over. It is 6-4. We'll see what the Angels do in the bottom of the 5th and make a decision on Tanana after that. Stretch, 5th inning. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay. Bottom of the 5th. Brian Downing will lead it off. 35 is a walk. And now, just like that, Bobby Grich is your tie run. 2-10 is a 5-4-3 double play. That's what Sutton wanted. Wanted it earlier, too. He didn't get it. They got it now. Don Baylor, 2 outs. 2-9, rolls to short. All right, 6-4 game. We'll see what happens with Trevino. 1-7 is a K. And going back up top, Lopes kills lefty, so that'll do it. We'll get him to go 5 1/3 for Tanana and pull him. Let's go Jim Barr this time in the 6th, as Dyer Miller wasn't very good last time out. Jim Barr was a giant in 78, 8-11 with a 3.53 ERA and 163 innings, mostly as a starter. Here he's the long man, and he will face Davey Lopes. 2-6, grounds a short, and with 2 outs, Reggie Smith. 2-9, single. And now you got Steve Garvey, homered his last trip. 1-7, Garvey's on fire, folks. Double 1-8, single ... You got runners on the corners for Say, who homered his last at-bat, but it was against a lefty. Here's the pitch to Ron Say. 67, fly ball left off of Barr. High-scoring affair, 6-4. Very surprising if Sutton were to give up 6 runs in 7 innings of work. And that's what the Dodgers have to be thinking at this point. And there's not much defense to bring in to help Mr. Sutton out. They'll just have to go through the bottom of the lineup and see where we go from there. Biff Pocoroba. 3-11, flies to center. Dan Ford, 47, is double 1, fly ball the rest. It's fly ball the rest. That's what makes Sutton so special. He's got a homer 1 on 5 and a double 1 on 7 that are outs. And here's Ron Jackson. 2-3, pops to second. And now you see Sutton has done a lot better in the last few innings. We go to the 7th. 6-4 game. Jim Barr will continue against Kirk Gibson. 1-9, homer on a 1, fly ball the rest, and he misses that for a fly ball. Dusty Baker, 58, pops to second, and with 2 outs, it's Bill Russell. 36, flies to center field. Stretch time in Anaheim of a 6-4 game. We're enjoying another Fleetwood Mac LP, The Bare Trees of 1972. Danny Kerwin on this one. Sentimental Lady, Dust, Little Child of Mine, Bare Trees. Great LP, pre-Lindsay and Stevie from 72. Fleetwood Mac. Bottom of the 7th inning. Sutton will continue. Probably have to break him to get him out of there. Here's Tim Johnson. 68 is a pop to first. Carney Lansford. 67 is a K with 2 outs. It's Molinaro. 1-8, grounds to first. We go to the 8th inning. Barr's done very well, and he can continue as a long guy. So he will. Willie Horton. 37 is single on a 4. He lines out on a 5. They can pull him, put Jim Norris in to play defense for Reggie Smith in the outfield, and they will. Now it's Alex Trevino, who has been on 2 out of 3 times today. 45 off of Barr, rolls to second. And Davey Lopes. 39 is a ground ball to short. Well, good news for the Angels. Jim Barr, very effective in the bullpen. Pitched 2 2/3 innings to keep his club in the game at 6-4. Bottom of the 8th, you have Forster, Castillo, and Hal warming for the Dodgers, trying to even this thing up. In the bottom of the 8th, and it'll be Brian Downing. 2-6 is single 1 to 13, but he rolls a 20. And now the Angels are not getting these breaks at the worst time. That's a liner to short. Tough one. Bobby Grich. 5-10 off of Sutton is catcher's card. 3-5 is Trevino. It's a ground ball C. And 2 outs. It's Baylor. 52. Pops to second base. So we'll go to the 9th inning. I'm going to go with Mark Clear. I'd rather have him come in to start an inning because he walks guys instead of inheriting runners. Mark Clear will try and keep this a 2-run game coming on in the 9th inning, the California closer. It'll be Reggie Smith. 57 is a K. Steve Garvey, 52, rolls a second. And Ron Say, 38, is a K. Buckle up, folks. Bottom of the 9th. Dodgers trying to even this thing. I think you put a batter on, he's gone. That's the leash, because we do have a very talented bullpen. We can turn guys around if needed, too. On the bench, not much help anyway for the Angels. You'd like to end this game with the next 4 batters, because once you turn this thing over and you get into Downing, Grich, and Baylor again, oh boy. So, Sutton will face Pocoroba, who has not reached yet today, but he's got a decent on-base percentage. The pitch to Pocoroba. 48 off of Sutton is second X. This is where you need good defense late in the game. 3E15 second baseman. And that's an error. That's exactly what you don't want to do. Pocoroba reaches. Now, strategically, you can pinch run because you're going to need a shortstop replacement. Fred Patek will pinch run for Pocoroba, and they'll just wave him down to second base. They're not going to hold him on as it's a 2-run lead. So Patek will go to second base with nobody out as a pinch runner, which means Johnson will now be in the DH spot, which will eventually be Bill Sample in that spot. And your tie run is Dan Ford. And now we got to start thinking about the Sutton homer on 4-4 against the righties, and the next 2 guys are right-handed. And I think that's it. They're going to pull Sutton after 8. They don't like his homer chances, and a 2-run homer ties this thing. And they're going to go to Steve Howe. I like the move here. The lefty. Ford and Jackson aren't that much better against lefties. Steve Howe in the 9th. Doesn't give up homers to righties, so that's why he's being brought in. And he will face Dan Ford with a runner at second and nobody out. Pitch to Dan Ford. 412 off of Hal, flies to left. High can of corn. Now you got Ron Jackson. 67 off of Hal is a base hit in a right field. Patek does not have to run home and get thrown out, so he'll stay at third. You got runners on the corners. Jackson's not being held as a D stealer at first base. You got the left-handed bat of Tim Johnson against Steve Hal, who's great against lefties. And the only right-hander on the bench is your Bill Sample. And if you bring Bill Sample in, you could go to a righty who gets righties out. Sample and Lansford don't give up, get home runs, or you could just pitch to Sample. Let's take a look at Bill Sample's card. You see, he's a 292 hitter. Did it with the Rangers in '79. Boy, he fits in perfectly with this team with that batting average. We got a 294 hitter, a 296 hitter, a 290 hitter, and Sample hitting 292. Plus, he's from the American League West, played for the Rangers. His homer chance is only 1 to 5 on his card. So Hal will pitch to him, with runners on the corners, looking for a double play ball if they can get it. And looking for an unlikely World Series hero, here is Billy Sample. The pitch. 2-7 for Sample is a 5-4-3 GBA plus to end the game because they're not holding Ron Jackson on at first base. Wow. That is a 5-4-3 double play to end the game. My goodness, folks. Runners on the corners with 1 out, playing back, conceding the runner at third. Don't want the guy to get the second, but you don't hold a D stealer, at least I don't. And then you get the 5-4-3 double play anyway. And the Angels come up empty in the 9th. Well, that was an interesting game. Angels had this 4-1 early, then the 3 straight solo homers in the 5th, a quick hook on Tanana, a quick hook in the 9th on Sutton, and Mr. Steve Hal gets the job done. And that is your ball game. 6-4 final. Dodgers even the series, 2 games apiece. They reclaim home field. Each team has won on each other's turf, which is the perfect scenario. So we'll have a Game 5 in California going back to Game 2 starters. Nolan Ryan at home against Bert Hooton and the Dodgers. We'll see ya for that one. All right, welcome back, baseball fans. 1978-81 World Series, Game 5. It has been back and forth. Angels win on the road, Dodgers win at home. Angels win at home, Dodgers win on the road. Each team has won and lost on the home and on the road. They've alternated games, and we are in a pivotal Game 5. Back to Game 2 starters. It's Bert Hooton, who shut out with some assistance from his bullpen. The Angels, 19-10 with a 2.71 ERA in '78. And it's Nolan Ryan. You've seen him quite frequently, haven't you? In the postseason, only 1 loss, his last start. We've had some interesting losses, really. Sutton, Ryan, and Tanana have all lost starts. Hooton has won his. So I guess he's due to lose, maybe? Is the way you can look at this? I don't know. Bert Hooton, Nolan Ryan, Game 5, very crucial game. Let's get started from Anaheim. Leading off, Davey Lopes. 4-4, second X. Gritch, 2E14, makes the play. Kurt Gibson now batting second, 59K. He fluctuates between second and fifth, depending on lefties and righties. Steve Garvey, 54, third X. 324 at third base. An error on Lansford, first of the series for him. He's pretty average there. And Reggie Smith batting cleanup. 54, short X. This is Johnson, a 4E17. Hasn't hurt them too much defensively. Makes the play. We have some pretty lowly rated defensive shortstops in this particular World Series, which is atypical. Normally you need a 1 or 2 shortstop to help your team in the World Series, like a Mark Belanger or a Bud Harrelson, or even a second baseman like Tommy Helms as a 1 for the Cincinnati Reds when they won the World Series. But the 4 shortstops, Patek is at least a 2, and he's on the bench. So that little diatribe. Bottom of the first. Here is Carney Lansford leading off. 47's a walk. B Steeler, but he got Sosha with a -1 arm. The Bob Molinaro. 46, another walk. 2 on for Brian Downing. 45 pops the first. Bobby Grich, 511. Second X. This is Lopes, a 3E15. Ouch. That's a single ... And that gives the Angels an early lead. Runners on the corners for Don Baylor. They're playing back, of course, looking for a double play. But 1-6, Don Baylor. Let's take a look at the card. 1979 MVP as a DH. 36 home runs and 296 batting average. 1-6, homer 1-11. Ladies and gentlemen, he rolls the 11. It is gone. It is Don Baylor's world. The rest of us are just living in it. The California Angels absolutely own the first inning. They've scored 6, 4, and 4 runs and have only won 1 game to this point at home. But just like in Game 4, they get a 4-run lead after 5 batters. I don't know. This Dodger pitching staff is outstanding too. So, all right, now I got Pocoroba batting 6th. 4-10 pops to short, and with 2 outs, John Harris, 49, short X. Russell today, 3. That's a base hit off of Russell's glove. Told you about shortstop defense. Dan Ford, 5'10", catcher's card. Sosha's pretty good. Sosha is a 2E4. And he makes the play. So the Dodgers were in this predicament. They were down 4-1 in Game 4. Came back and won 6-4. Now they're down 4-0. So Dusty Baker leading off. 3-6, short. Ron Say, 57 is a walk. So it's been sitting there the whole time, folks. 5-7 is a walk on the Ryan card. Lefties and righties. He's been pitching about 6 starts in the postseason. I think that's the first time we hit it. So if that's going to happen, Brian will probably, he'll probably get you a Cy Young or 2 if no one's going to roll that walk on his card. So yeah. Willie Horton, 111, flies to left. And with 2 outs, Bill Russell. 110, single to left field. Say holds a second with 2 outs. And it's Mike Sosha. 6-11 off of Ryan. Pitcher X, he's an E26. E26 pitcher makes the error, which will load the bases with 2 outs for Davey Lopes, who extended that first inning. He turns the double play here, and they don't get 4 runs perhaps. So he's got the bases loaded with 2 outs on the top of the second. The pitch to Davey Lopes. 2-10, but Davey comes through. Let's take a look at the Davey Lopes card of 1979. 28 home runs and a 265 batting average, 97 walks, arguably his best year. 210 is a single to center field, 1 run scores, and you know Bill Russell's going to run. He's a fantastic base runner, always has been. 17, 18, 19, -1 arm makes it 1-18, and he scores on a 2. So it's a 2-out, 2-run single by Davey Lopes, and we got a ball game again, folks. Sosha will stop at second with 2 outs, and it's Kirk Gibson. 43 off Ryan. Third X. This is Mr. Lansford. He made an error in the first. A 3. E24, and he makes the play here. Bottom of 2. Tim Johnson in a 4-2 game. 35 is a walk. Carney Lansford. 2-7 is a short B+. Not being held, so it's just a simple fielder's choice. He's on at first for Molinaro. Bob Molinaro, nice series for him too. 2-9 is a single to center. Could go coast to coast with 1 out. Big fan of that. Lansford's a 16 run. He's going to try it. It's a 15 shot, and he makes it. And why it's so effective is that it means you have to hold the runner at first, Molinaro. So you have runners on the corners with 1 out. You got to bring the infield up and hold, may as well. And Brian Downing's your batter. 57 is short X with the infield up. It's a 3E33 at short. But it's a single off of Russell's defense. And that's putting the pressure on the defense perfectly. You got first and second. A run scores to make it 5-2. It's first and second with 1 out, and it's Bobby Grich. 38, Bobby Grich. Red hot, double 1-4, single ... another RBI. And it is 6-2 Angels. Nothing can stop this team from scoring, it seems. Don Baylor. Dodgers have a heck of a pitching staff, but it's no match. You got runners on the corners. Don Baylor. 2-7, single 1-2, lines to short. And 2 outs for Pokeroba. 2-8 is single ... off the Pokeroba card. Here we go again, folks. Blowing out the Dodgers starter for the 3rd start in a row. So Sutcliffe got lit up in Game 3. Batted around twice against him. Hooten only slightly better. I jinxed him in the pregame by saying he's the only starter who hasn't lost yet. Oh boy, runners on the corners, 2 outs. He's given up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 more hit and 1 more walk will break him. John Harris is your batter. 1-7 is a strikeout. Wow. We'll go to the 3rd. 7-2. Dodgers can't believe it. They didn't think they'd be a team that'd have to play from behind so much. And it really hurts the speedy guys like Lopes and Gibson and Reggie Smith and Bill Russell. So. Steve Garvey leads off. 112, fly ball to left, B plus injury. So the Golden Garvey, don't even know why they put an injury on his card in 1979. That is very sketchy. They also put injuries on Cal Ripken's card. I might think about, let's think about this now. So was it during the streak? The Garvey streak, 1979? Yeah, it's in the middle of it, right? When did the streak end? I think he's going to play with a limp, folks. I'm going to leave him in the game. I'm not abiding by that injury, darn it. It's Steve Garvey. He had a 1,300 game consecutive game streak. But you know what? After retrospect, he gets credit for the game. He's played in it. So the streak would continue. So bumps and bruises, yep, he's coming out. I changed my mind after thinking I was going to leave him in there because of his consecutive game streak. I've changed it. So he is injured like the injury says, and that's when a guy rolls an injury on his card, he misses the rest of that game and comes back the next day. So I'm making Garvey leave. He'll come back the next day. His streak will continue. Jim Norris, a 3-10 first baseman, will replace him, and life goes on. 1 out in the 3rd. Let's continue. Reggie Smith. 2-9 for Reggie is a single. B Steeler being held for Dusty Baker. 48 off of Ryan Zakay. And with 2 outs, it's Ron Say. 43, left X. Molinari's a 3E16, and he makes the grab on his 3-ness. Not to put a damper on the Dodgers, but if they lose this game and go down 3-2 in the series, they have to have Jim Umbarger start Game 6. This is a situation the Dodgers never thought they'd be in, with Sutton in Game 7. But Umbarger would have a short leash. They'd go with Tom Bruno if he gets knocked around. Ross Baumgarten gets the start in Game 6 for the Angels in what could potentially be a closeout game if this score continues. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's Dan Ford. 210, flies to center field. Tim Johnson, 64. Short X. Russell, a 3E33. Another single off of him. And Lansford. 46, single 1-10 is a single. Now, how many hits is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. This man is broken, folks. He's hit his point of weakness. 9-3, 8-4, or 10 hits will do it. 12 base runners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In 3 frames, gets you point of weakness. So, he's thrown a ton of pitches, and this is a real killer here because they don't want to exhaust their bullpen because they might need that bullpen when Umbarger starts. But they could use Sutcliffe in relief. I forgot about that. Sutcliffe's also available to pitch in Game 6. So it'll be Umbarger to start, Sutcliffe will relief. We can go to Bruno in this one if it gets uglier. First and second, 1 out. Molinaro. 55 off of Hooten. Boy, 111, single ... It is single ... and it is 8-2. What an offensive juggernaut by the Angels. One of the best offensive performances I've had in a World Series in quite some time. Runners in the corners, Brian Downing. 64, 3rd X. This is, they need a double play out of Say or it could be trouble. A 2E11. It's a ground ball. See, that scores a run. Couldn't get the ball out of his glove. The guy from thirds ends up scoring, and the guy from first goes to second with 2 outs in a 9-2 affair, and Bobby Grich, third X again. This time it's a GBA. What a debacle. 9-2 in the 4th. It'll be Willie Horton. 1-5's a walk. Bill Russell 1-7. Double 1 to 10 is a double. This is the year of the hitting, folks. The league ERA is like 4.27. And the World Series is indicating that, yeah, pitching is scarce. Second and third, 9-2 game. Ryan has a nice leash on him, too. So, Sosha, 59's a K. Davey Lopes. And Davey, 57, is a walk. They've loaded the bases with 1 out. Now Ryan has put 1, 2, 3, 4, no danger of breaking. Bases loaded, 1 out. Kirk Gibson, they're going to play back. 2-9, Gibson is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Steve Garvey. No, it's not Steve Garvey. It's Jim Norris in for the injured Steve Garvey. This will be a very interesting roll. If he rolls a 1-5, the Dodgers will be brokenhearted. That would have taken a grand slam away from Steve. Jim Norris doesn't have any power. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The pitch to Jim Norris. 3-10 is a fly ball to center. It's an out for both players. So, all that for nothing. Bottom of the 4th, Baylor. 2-8, rolls a short. Pocaroba. 3-6, homer, 1-13. It is gone. The Biffster. Biff Pocaroba, the latest guy chiming in on this Angel roster. Tim Johnson's made some plays. Dan Ford, Pocaroba, Molinaro. From unlikely sources, it is now 10-2. John Harris, 1-8, short. He's going to leave the game after 3 at-bats for defense. Ron Jackson comes in for him. And Dan Ford, 58, left. Well, that'll do it for Hooten. He's done. We go to the 5th of a 10-2 game. We'll try and get through this quickly for you folks. Reggie Smith, 57's a walk. 3 times now. After saying it's not happened all series, we've done it 3 5-7s in this game. Dusty Baker, 49, short X. Got to get this. Oh, they left Johnson in there as a 4 shortstop, but he gets a ground ball C. Ron Say, 5-11, another walk. And the walks are piling up here. Willie Horton, 4-10, short X again. 4-17, need to get a play here. Ground ball B. So you have runners on the corners and 2 outs. Bill Russell. 38 is a pop to third. The Dodgers strand 6 runners in these innings. Could have chipped into that 8-run deficit. Doesn't look like it's going to happen now. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, the Angels. Trying to get another victory. They've won the odd-numbered games 1-3 and now hopefully 5. Had a chance in game 4, but they blew a big lead with Tanana. But they need to hold on to this one. They're going to try and continue the barrage. We get a new pitcher. Tom Bruno comes on the 5th. He didn't expect to pitch so much, though he's not pitching a lot, of course. But normally the Dodger bullpen, they fall asleep because the starters go into the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, but not this series. Bruno will face Tim Johnson. 58 is a fly ball to right. Patek will come in for him defensively. Carney Lansford, 2-6, single. Molinaro, 47 is a walk. 2 on, 1 out. Brian Downing, 2-9, 5-4-3 double play. Innings over. They're going to bring in one more guy. They're going to bring in Bill Sample. Hook him in for Pocaroba. Baylor goes to DH. All the defense is in. 12 outs to get. Take home field into Dodger Stadium for Game 6 and maybe Game 7. Top of the 6th, Mike Sosha. 4-12, right X. This is a sample for E0. Well, E0 is not any good if you're rolling the fielding rating every time and it's a single. So no taking advantage of the E0 defense there. Davey Lopes, 4-10, short X. But it's the new shortstop. He's a 2E40 at short. And that is a GBA. So the Patek move pays off immediately. Get a double play off a 2 shortstop. That's how you win World Series, folks. Angels are looking like the better team in this one. Kirk Gibson, 2-9 as a strikeout. Bottom of the 6th, that's Grich. 6-10 for Bobby Grich. Third X. Saves a 2-11. Makes the play. Don Baylor, 6-11. First X. Oh, it's not Garvey. It's the 3E10 Norris. And he gets a ground ball B. Good for him. And here's Bill Sample. 110, flies to center. We go to the 7th, a 10-2 game. Didn't see this coming, folks. Jim Norris. Hasn't been really the best World Series. 5-12, third X. You know, the problem is I played that incredible World Series between the Reds and the A's. And it's hard to top that one, folks. That was amazing. Base hit off of Lansford's glove for Jim Norris. This is where Vince Scully would tell some stories, I guess, but I don't really have anything like that planned. Reggie Smith, 5-10, walk. Ryan is doing everything he can to invite the Dodgers back into this game. Dusty Baker, 56 is a K. Ryan's a starter 8, so he has his point of weakness. Ron Say, 1-9 is a walk. Bases loaded, 1 out. Willie Horton, one more batter, I'm going to hook him. 39, base hit in the center field. They'll go station to station. Norris scores, and we've seen enough. So Ryan has done enough to give his team a lead, but he's going to be pulled after 6 1/3 as he's put a ton of guys on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You put 16 men on base and only give up 3 runs. That's a nice little magic trick. Angels are going to go Dyer Miller here in the 7th with a huge 10-3 lead. The bases are still loaded with 1 out. Dyer Miller in the 7th, trying to make this game interesting. And they'll face Bill Russell. A bunter, so they got to bring the infield up. 3-12, and it's a Lomax! Let's take a look at the Bill Russell card. It is the answer for the California Angels. You had the bases loaded, and you had an A bunter, Bill Russell. So you were hedging infield up, and you get a Lomax to third anyway, with a runner just standing there at third base. So it's an easy double play. I want to line out to third, a Lomax, and that will just kill the Dodgers' chances of a miracle in this game. Most likely. Stretch time in Anaheim, and we are just going through the Fleetwood Mac catalog in this series. Today we got the 73 Penguin LP by Fleetwood Mac. And yeah, Penguin, 1973, Fleetwood Mac. Bob Welch is on this one, I believe. All right, bottom of the 7th. Bruno's second inning of relief. Ron Jackson. 5-10, catcher's card. This is Sosha, the 2E7. Makes the play. Disco Dan Ford, 46. 1-4 single, base hit. Fred Patek with 1 out. 66, K, and with 2 outs, it's Lansford. Has at least 2 hits in every game, it seems. Some games he has 4. He pops to third. 10-3 Angels into the 8th. Miller will continue. It'll be Sosha leading off. 2-4, grounds the third. Barr pitched effectively in relief, and now Miller is trying to do the same. Davey Lopes, 5-12, second X. This is Grich, a 2E14, makes the play, and with 2 outs, it's Kirk Gibson. 39's a walk, and Jim Norris. 66 is a fly ball to right field. Dyer Miller gives you an inning and 2/3 of great relief. It is 10-3. That was 3 innings for Bruno. We'll have Forster pitch the 8th inning. So you'll have Umbarger and Sutcliffe and the rest of the bullpen for Game 6, and a reset if Game 7 is needed for the Dodger bullpen. And the Angels don't have any problems with overworking their bullpen. So Terry Forster come on in the 8th. Molinaro will stay in there because he's a 3 defense and left. 1-3 rolls to third. Brian Downing, 38, is a walk. Bobby Grich, 63, second X. This is Lopes. Not having a great series defensively. Another single off of Lopes. Runners on the corners. You're seeing a team suffer, the Dodgers, with 3s and 4s at short. to really hurt you, particularly when you're playing on the road. Runners in the corners, they got to bring the infield up. They can't afford any more runs. Don Baylor, 312, another low max. Well, how about that, folks? You bring the infield up with a runner at third, and Bill Russell and Don Baylor do the same thing. They line into a double play. There you go. Well, that'll get the game over quickly. 10-3 in the ninth. We'll go Clear. He can go individual innings consecutively. He's a relief 3, no big deal. Plus, we have a day off, so they're going to bring the closer Clear in with a 7-run lead. This is not a save situation. They just want to get this thing over with. And it's Reggie Smith. 2-3, rolls a second. Dusty Baker, 1-8 is a single. Ron Say, 43, center X. Dan Ford's a 2E9 in center. He makes the catch, and with 2 outs, Willie Horton, 69, is a strikeout, and the Angels win Game 5. And oh, they were so close to winning Game 4 and winning this series 4-1. They might be kicking themselves if they don't win the World Series, but they are playing great baseball. The California Angels are up 3-2. Your final score is 10-3. The two teams will take a day off, get on the freeway. It'll probably take them an entire day to get from LA to Anaheim on the freeway. But in Game 6, it should be a wild one, folks. The Dodgers at home will send Jim Umbarger, a very underperforming lefty starter, and the Angels will counter with their own underperforming lefty, Ross Baumgarten. So we're going to have some fireworks for Game 6, win, lose, or draw. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.